Well, good evening, everybody, and here it is. It's time that people recognize that there is a lot of organized, conspired, carried out crime that's happening throughout Northeast Kingdom, Vermont. Guildhall Courthouse. Yep, I say Guildhall Courthouse. The judge, the prosecutor, the sheriff, and everybody involved, including the public defenders, guardian ad litems. Yep, they like to ruin lives and destroy files. My story dates back to 1995, but in Guildhall it starts in 2007, and that's when I was confronted by Falmouth Police Department after they went and took my daughter on a claim of abandonment and placed my children into DCF custody and sex trafficked them. I requested the information time and time again from Lancaster, the town of I hand-delivered a copy before I hand-delivered an intent to lawsuit, the town, the county, and the state. And I just want to give you a little bit of a preview as to what's been happening. In 1995, my husband, William Eugene Asher, married me under the name of Donald Lowther Jr. I had no idea he was under a false name, but he was. And he left 11 days after we got married in Bethlehem, New Hampshire. He never came home. The chief of police said it must be a lover's quarrel. The New Hampshire State Police, they said, oh yes, he's committed crimes and we will get him. They never got him because they're hiding him. He works for them. And so therefore, it's come to my attention that this little misdemeanor charge that is fraudulent against me in Rochester, New Hampshire District Court to be heard for a competency status. They want me to have a competency evaluation because I told the fucking truth about the human trafficking, sex trafficking, and drug trafficking being carried out and committed crimes by police, politicians, and through the attorneys, DCF, DHS, and everybody involved. Anybody from New Hampshire, Twin Mountain area may remember State Trooper John Scarenza. Well, he's no longer a trooper, but he's the one that claimed, oh yes, we'll get him, William Eugene Asher, who married me as Donald Ray Lowther Jr. And here he is in 1995. And here he is on Inside Edition in 1995. And here is the case number. That is from Strafford County, New Hampshire. That's right, Stephen Bork and Eric Millar, both recused from the case. William was finally apprehended 3 months later. He was found in Brattleboro, Vermont. He was in a traffic stop, and he was found to be William Eugene Asher. He had 21 different identities shoved down into the truck door panel, and the plates ran back to Danny Mitchell Stevens. Well, he also lived under the name of Jason Sims. And in 96, because they told me, New Hampshire State Police told me that if I did not marry him under his true identity, and the Sally Show would pay for an annulment, which they did not, okay? Said they would charge me with conspiracy to bigamy. They fucking threatened me with a crime. And 30 years later, I'm being charged with crimes that I've never committed. And I'm not happy about it, Carroll, New Hampshire, Bethlehem, New Hampshire, Lancaster, New Hampshire. Rockingham has not responded to anything, nothing other than giving me a case number for vandalism of my vehicles, but never responded to any of my reports of the harassment, terrorizing, and stalking by William Eugene Asher, also known as Michael Middleton by some of his wives, and known as another name by some of his other wives, like Brenda and Sharon. So yeah, New Hampshire State Police 30 years ago, they failed me, they failed the community, all of us wives, and all of the children. Let me play a little bit of the Inside Edition for you, because Bethlehem, New Hampshire, they did me wrong. They recused from the case, and so did New Hampshire State Police. The Attorney General refuses to give any information, and in fact, he has made it clear that he would charge me with harassment if I ask about my missing imposter, bigamist, embezzling husband.
The jury in the Simpson case is in deliberations, but the verdict is in our exclusive poll. We'll have the results a little bit later. But first, we all know appearances can be deceiving. But ask yourself, how well do you really know that man or woman of your dreams? Well, Kimberly Knights thought that she knew all there was to know about her new husband, but as Scott Rappaport tells us, she was dead wrong.
Bethlehem is a peaceful town frequented by poet laureates and known as the poetry capital of New Hampshire. For newlyweds Kimberly Knight and Donald Ray Lowther Jr., their future read like a love poem.
He just looked right into my eyes and saw a guy that was really in love with me.
On August 28th, Don and Kim were married, but only 11 days later, Kimberly's life was torn apart.
We left work in Lisbon, about 20 minutes from our home, and never returned home again.
Don worked at the DCI furniture factory, where co-workers like his supervisor, Robert Ricker, knew him as a hard worker who was expecting a child, while also helping to care for Brianna, Kim's 2-year-old daughter.
We all knew we had a family coming about, so he was more than willing to work any overtime we asked of him.
He couldn't wait for the baby to be born, hoping that it was a boy. Wanted to be named the third.
Don punched out at 4:23 p.m., leaving his frantic wife with no idea of what could have happened. Kim, fearing the worst, contacted the New Hampshire State Police.
She was very upset, didn't know where her husband had gone to, was concerned that either something bad had happened to him or he was hurt.
If Kimberly didn't have enough to worry about, a trip to the bank revealed the painful truth.
They said, oh yeah, we're aware of it. We've closed your checking account because you're overdrawn.
Kim now realized that not only had Don abandoned her, it appeared he had scammed her as well. Kim says Don left her penniless and quickly began writing one bad check after another.
Well, I thought that I had all my checks. Obviously, I don't.
We've been able to determine that he's written in excess of $3,000 of checks on.
That was a lot of money in
their joint
95
account.
people.
Kimberly was now determined to find out where her husband had gone. A credit check turned up a phone number for Donald Ray Lowther Jr. in the rural community of Booth, West Virginia.
I said, hi, this is Kim Lowther calling. I'm calling from Bethlehem, New Hampshire. I'm calling in regards to my husband, Donald Ray Lowther Jr. And the kid says, well, I'm Donald Ray Lowther Jr.
Yeah, I was like, who is this person? Why does she call me? How did she get my name? I mean, I thought it was Frank at first. The woman called me and said my husband's missing. I'm like, your husband's missing? Why are you telling me for?
All I could say was, oh my gosh, what has happened to me? What has happened to me?
After Kim described her husband, Donald told her that he and her husband briefly roomed together and that his wallet had been stolen. Donald said that he too was a victim, and for Kim, the horrifying news sunk in.
My husband's an imposter. What do I do?
We spoke with West Virginia State Police, and it became increasingly clear that the gentleman that she thought she had married was not so, and he was using an alias.
In the neighboring university city of Morgantown, Kim's story made headlines. At first, Linda Thorman read in disbelief, but the photograph left no doubt in her mind that Kim's husband, Don, was her fiancé, Danny Mitchell Stevens. She and Stevens dated for a year, and just before the Memorial Day weekend, he vanished.
I felt very betrayed. I still feel betrayed because that means, according to all of this, that means, our whole relationship, that, intimacies and all were nothing. We're just all lies and a scam.
West Virginia State Trooper John Antelock issued an arrest warrant for Danny Mitchell Stevens. He had allegedly written over $14,000 in bad checks on his and Linda's joint account.
He is a con man, and what he's just preying on the female victims that he has thus far.
Though police are still trying to establish Don and Danny's true identity, they are optimistic.
leads are coming in. We're getting phone calls from people in the community. The other leads are coming in conjunction with working with the New Hampshire State Police. We'll find them before we're done. It may take some time.
But for these two women, drawn together as unwitting victims by what police say is a cruel con man, life will never be the same.
I would just love to just knock the out of him. I'm so angry that he did this, and not only to me. You know, he did it to someone else, and I know there's more of us. I know there is.
But every night I'm waking up in nightmares crying. I go in and check on my baby. I would like to know who I married, why he married me, and why he's done this stuff to me.
Well, whoever this guy is, police say they don't believe he's violent, but they are looking for him, and they hope this report will help uncover some clues.
And that, my friends, is information that comes right from the Inside Edition show. And I have those videos in my possession. However, all of the police throughout Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and straight to West Virginia claim that they don't know anything about this happening. Can you fucking imagine that? Well, that's a true fucking statement. These cops out here are all involved in an organized, conspired crime that's been going on for 30 plus fucking years. And one day, somebody's gonna speak the fuck up and they're gonna say, hey, wait a minute. This is enough. Now, like I told you, about 3 months later, he did get caught. He was caught in Brattleboro. And so they did a second airing. And between those two airings, I got a call from Paramount Films wanting me to allow them to make a movie about my misfortune and pay my family $10,000. Well, fuck you. That's not happening. And why would I exploit my family? I'm a very personable person. And by the way, when they tell me that they want me to have a competency hearing, that's out of retaliation because of all the lawsuits I filed. And for some reason, they're testing me to know how capable I am of holding up my own and going for civil liberty.
He seemed like a prince to the women he met, but he turned out to be a frog who had a habit of loving and leaving them with a lot of debt. Joel Boy tells us how the runaway Romeo finally got caught.
Can you give me some of the names you used? Well, there was Don Lowther, Mitchell Stevens, Jason Sims, David Asher.
So who is this man and why so many names? It's all part of a mystery we first told you about last September. Back on August 28th, Kimberly Nice married the man of her dreams, Donald Ray Lowther.
He just looked right into my eyes and saw a guy that was really in love with me.
But then, only 11 days later, Kim's newlywed bliss in Bethlehem, New Hampshire, was shattered by Don's unexplained and sudden disappearance.
We left work in Lisbon, about 20 minutes from our home, and never returned home again.
Then came more bad news. First, Kim's husband apparently scammed her by writing over $3,000 in bad checks from their joint account.
Oh, and that's
then
not all.
She found the real Donald Ray Lowther in Booth, West Virginia.
I'm not married. I'm too young to be married.
When the real Donald Ray Lowther told Kim that he and her missing husband had roomed together and that his wallet had been stolen, the grim reality sank in.
My husband's an imposter. What do I do?
But as it turned out, Kim wasn't the only alleged victim. In the city of Morgantown, West Virginia, Kim's story made headlines. At first, Linda Thorman read in disbelief, but the photograph left no doubt in her mind that Kim's husband, Don, was her fiancé, Danny Mitchell Stevens. She and Stevens dated for a year, and just before the Memorial Day weekend, he vanished. Then allegedly wrote $14,000 in bad checks on their joint account.
It's amazing how one person can cause that much pain.
I would like to know who I married, why he married me, and why he's done this stuff to me.
I'm sure that there has been a lot of pain at my expense, and I am truly sorry for that.
On Thanksgiving Day, police in Brattleboro, Vermont arrested a 28-year-old on a routine traffic violation, and the man known as Donald Ray Lothar, Danny Mitchell Stevens, and Jason Sims became William Asher. And now this young man, wanted in 3 states, speaks exclusively with Inside Edition.
Every time I switched identities, it was kind of like a new beginning, a forgiveness, if you will. But I never set out to hurt any of those people.
I would just love to just knock them out of here.
I'd rip his head off.
Some of these folks are pretty angry with you. What do you say to them?
I was never set up to plow Linda down. Those weren't her signatures on the checks. So one thing I can say to Dawn is that I was desperate. When I met Kim, I had it all.
And even in the forged checks, etc., you figured that was your doing. It wasn't supposed to impact on them.
Right. I guess it was some selfish thinking. I did. I was thinking that it was my crime. That I would stand responsible for it.
But incredibly, as William Asher faced the music, his new wife, Kim Knights, stood tearfully by his side.
I'm always going to love him.
Kim, I do love you very much.
Go fuck yourself, you queer.
And I hope that you can wait for me.
Do you have any idea how much time you might be looking at?
I'm not sure. I'm scared to even begin to think about it.
So who is William Asher? He says he's been in trouble with the law since age 18, but authorities say he skipped town rather than go to a bail hearing. That's when he started changing identities.
2019, I filed a round of lawsuits, $87 billion plus multi-million, and I wasn't found incompetent then, nor was I tried to be incompetent. And by the way, for all of you that say that I'm fucking crazy, I've got three evaluations that were illegally done on me, and they couldn't find me to be incompetent, so what the fuck makes you think you can? On this date here, my children were illegally taken and put into trafficking through Northeast Kingdom, DCF, Newport, Vermont, and handed to the sex trafficking and exploiting police officers. Detective Real Robillard from Vermont Derby. He's in Super Troopers movie. And let me tell you something. My husband, William Eugene Asher, ties into them all. Here. This is just one of the images that came across social media, and it was made by my husband. It's been reported not only to the police, but even to my public pretender, Jessie Conover, out of Dover, New Hampshire, and that bitch, and I'll tell you she's a bitch, because to me, she's worthless, and to me, she's a bitch, as far as I'm concerned. She's not done anything that she should, probably not for any of her clients, okay? But I can tell you right now, I've already reported her for hiding this information and not requesting investigation. But again, we all know public pretenders are paid by the Attorney General's office, aren't they?